All right, Coach. I know you just played yesterday, but I assume you had a chance to watch the film on the way back. Anything that really stood out from the Purdue game?
Yes. I think the big thing that stood out is that we had tremendous slippage defensively. We made a lot of mistakes. You have to credit Purdue. They capitalized on almost every defensive mistake that we made, very similar to Oakland. They're a team that's capable of doing that. They have some kids that can make shots, and we were real careless and hapless, and I think right now we're learning how to play with urgency and discipline, and we're not very concrete in the way that we go about our business on the floor defensively, and I think it shows. I don't like to be reckless, and I think we're reckless sometimes defensively, and I think we just have to continue to really, really grow in that area. And we're still searching. We're searching for kids that can play the way that we want to play here. We're searching for kids that are going to do what it takes to win games. No excuses, get the job done, focus on task at hand, do what the coaches tell them to do, and understand the importance of the moment. And so we're searching, to find a group as a whole that's gonna do those things, that's gonna get it done. And yesterday we struggled when we went to the bench. We struggled. We had one little stretch in the first quarter, and to me, that's where we went to the bench and they outscored us real quick in like less than like a minute and 50 seconds. And so and that can't happen. And there were other times within that game where we just had we're taught how to do things, but right now there's no true intent to do things right. And we're going to find the kids that's going to make that happen.
Obviously, your overall defensive numbers are good this year, but the last couple games haven't been great, right?
Yeah.
How confident are you that you'll be able to, get
I'm
the
very
defense going?
confident. I'm very confident, and this is why I'm very confident. One, because it's not like, it's not like I haven't had success in the past, right? And so I feel very confident about that. I think another thing, too, is just simply playing together with more continuity with our group, and getting kids into practice and being able to get reps and get kids playing with different groups to find out really, truly who our best players are. And that's been lacking, and I think the more that we see them in practice, we're going to know, who our best players are. And I think through mere competition, it's going to show. We also need, we need everybody to continue to improve. And so, last night we essentially went with one big the whole night. Well, we need those other bigs to look better in practice and in games. And so, doing the things that we want them to do and look the way we want to look. And so we're continually to coach them. And, there's kids on the bench that I feel like have a chance. But very much like last year, when you have a group that's never really won, that's coming in, everybody's trying to figure out how to win, and it's not mindless basketball. You have to be able to play a certain way, the right way, our way. And there's, it takes sometimes it takes a minute, and our kids, I think as a whole, I think they're trying, 100% trying, but I just feel like there's a next level of try and a next level of urgency, and a true understanding what winning looks like, and it's blinded. A couple of our kids, they don't really understand it yet, and so we're gonna find a group, whether that's 6 players, 7 players, whatever. We're gonna find a group, and we're gonna get it that can defend the way we want to defend, and we're gonna make it happen.
You kind of mentioned there were just 6 or 7 players, just 3 points from the bench against Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Was that just how the game flow was going?
Well, 100%. I put the second group in there. In the first quarter, and I put 3 of the kids in there together, and everything went south fast. and it was mistake, mistake, like three ball, and that every second it matters, every possession matters, and understanding that without being, excuse ridden, like get the job done. That's what this is, and we weren't able to. It showed me early right there in the moment, like, we're probably got to shorten this bench tonight. And I gave, Macy got another opportunity in the second half, and she was a part of some good things, you know. But again, she had mistakes again in the second half. And so, like, we just, as a whole, like, we have to be more consistent. Not only playing hard, because I do think our kids play hard, but we got to learn how to play smart, play within our system, play the game the right way. Because I know that our staff is doing a good job of coaching them up. And I think our kids are doing a good job of taking the information. It's the application piece of it, right? To be able to apply what we know with great intent and great urgency. And when you play, Big Ten teams, teams on the road in general, they're going to make you pay. They're simply going to make you pay. And at the end of the day, our expectations and standards is play a certain way and to win. It's always our expectation. It's always standard. Otherwise, why are we even here? I've heard from multiple people talk about me, why we, thinking that we should win our league. Well, why am I here? That should always be my expectation. You think Brady don't think that he's supposed to win his league? You think Kent State's coach Starkey? You think, Kristen at Central Michigan don't expect to win their league? We all expect to win our league. I mean, we're all competitors. We're all alphas. Like, we all expect it. And that message is always, it resonates with our team, that our expectation is to win all the time and win our league. But the only way we could do that is by playing a lot more solid basketball. And we're really loose right now in some areas defensively that we need to improve it.
All right. Interesting trip coming up. Just what are you hoping to gain, from this 4 or 5 day week?
Well, first we have practice, and we have film. So we'll watch film, and we're gonna learn, and there's gonna be more teaching, and getting kids to be able to understand what we're doing. And then after that, we're going on the floor. We're gonna get better. We're gonna practice. We had kids that played a lot of minutes yesterday, but we need practice. We're gonna be off tomorrow, and then tomorrow, on Wednesday, together, we're going to, practice a little bit on Wednesday, but we're going to try and enjoy this trip too. This is a long year, and we all want to win games, and we all want to be, but I also want this to be a great experience for everybody. And honestly, I look forward to just really mingling with the team and just kind of just being with the team and hanging out with them. And my family's coming, and I look forward to being with them. And it's a great opportunity for our kids to be able to experience some new stuff and play great competition afterwards. And so once we get into Washington State, I know they're really, they're winless right now, but you look at their schedule, they've played 3 heavy hitters. They played Missouri, they played Stanford. I can't remember who else they played, the third squad, but they lost to a pretty decent Idaho team that can really score. They've played really good competition, and they're going to be a tough opponent for us. And, their coach is a tremendous coach. I think she's one, everybody talks about all these other coaches. Coaches know. Like, I think she's one of the best coaches in the country. And so they run great stuff. They have really good guard play. And so they're going to be tough. If they're making shots and we have slippage like we had at Purdue, they're more than capable of beating us. They play in a great league. They play unbelievable competition. Those kids, used to be in the Pac-12. They're good. And then, if we're fortunate to beat them, we got LSU. And so, but we can't even think about that kind of stuff. We need to really focus on Washington State when the time comes.